Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, and our witnesses. We appreciate your appearing before the committee today. I am very focused on the concerns of a global democratic recession that I think appears to be occurring around the world, where authoritarian regimes are at the rise, and we have an erosion in political rights and civil liberties around the world that I think the National Endowment for Democracy is well positioned, as well as the Inter-American Foundation, to try to portray and focus on smart power of our country. I question our American leadership at this moment as to whether or not they're really interested in using all the tools in statecraft to promote democracy and protect freedoms. President Ronald Reagan used to like to talk about America being that beacon of light, that city on the shining hill. And I'm wondering today whether or not President Reagan would feel comfortable with, clearly is a backsliding from my perspective, that we've been witnessing with this administration on that role of being that city on the shining hill for a beacon of democratic nations around the world. So while Ned is busy promoting democracy overseas, I think we find ourselves in a somewhat position of uncertainty whether or not the administration fully wants to support those efforts in certain parts of the world. This hyper-partisan agenda by eradicating bipartisan congressionally funding organizations such as NED and the Inter-American Foundation, I think, goes to the heart of this. First, it was in USAID that was dismantled. Now it's the National Endowment of Democracy and the Inter-American Foundation who are here testifying this morning. We appreciate your comments, but I think it seems to be juxtaposed with this administration's attempt to deal with undermining our institutions of democracy both at home and around the world. I think it undermines our global standing, which the president seems to want to portray. And I think it's a litmus test for those of us in Congress as to whether or not congressional authority will continue to be bipartisan in its efforts. So, Mr. Wilson, I'd like to start with Russia and Ukraine. Can you outline NED's program in relationship to these countries and how the United States has supported democracy in the Ukraine to help resist Russia's, the war criminal, President Putin, from attempting to deal with this war? And also interested in your work in Central Europe. I think the efforts with Hungary were beneficial in recent elections, but there's, as you noted, threats in Armenia and Georgia and Moldova. Could you please comment?
Thank you, Congressman, for your question. Russia and Ukraine are top priorities for the endowment, reflecting interest that we've had from Congress. Ukraine is our largest program operating in, if you will, a free country. And it's built on decades of support since 1989 of backing Ukrainian citizens to actually have a say in their future. Over the years, this investment was about dealing with issues of representation and corruption in Ukraine, helping its transition to democracy. What we have seen today is that those investments over time have been part of the story for why Ukraine has been successful in resisting Russian aggression. So our support today, I think, is vital to the Ukrainian resistance of Russia's assault. We support efforts to document the war crimes that are taking place to help ensure access to—
And they are war crimes, and it was just as clear today as it was 4 years ago when bipartisan expression of good versus evil, with Russia representing the evil nature of their intentions, right?
That's right, and our work has both helped folks document that, but also do things about it and worked. For example, we've been able to support Russians and Ukrainians to work together to return Ukrainian children that had been abducted and taken into Russia.
Over 20,000. Mr. Malinowski, I'd like to focus on your experience on organizations like NED playing a role in foreign policy. From your background and increasingly in an authoritarian world, could you please comment and how defunding your organization would influence America's standing in the world? Good to see you, Tom.
Sorry, good to see you. So, yeah, I mean, first of all, there are things that NED can do, that institutions like this can do that the State Department can't and shouldn't try to do by itself. Having that little bit of separation from the executive branch from a particular president's foreign policy can be very helpful. It's protective of the people, the activists who get the support. It allows, that they have amazing local knowledge and local relationships that they can exploit. But it also conveys a message about what America stands for that is absolutely central and essential to our power and authority in the world. And if this were to go away, we know who would be happy, because last year when there was the possibility of NED going away, it was the dictatorships in China, in Cuba, in Venezuela, in Iran that publicly, and Russia, that publicly gloated and rejoiced, saying this is a huge win for us to see the destruction of institutions like NED, which thankfully did not happen, and did not happen in part because there is still bipartisan support for the work that they do here in the United States Congress, even as you guys hold them accountable, which is your prerogative and your right and what you should be doing. And I want to make sure that that's preserved in all of our interest.
Thank you. My time's expired, but more to continue.